Most of the actions we looked at in our worksheet were focused on reducing the amount of carbon dioxide that we produce. But there's also the need to capture that carbon and store it. But what do these terms mean? Well, to capture carbon means to collect it, generally from the atmosphere, but also from the source of where it's being produced, such as in power plants or heavy industry. And to storage means to keep it in a stable condition and location for many, many years. There are many things that already do this, such as trees and plants. They capture and store carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, where they'll take carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight, and they'll turn it into food for themselves. Seagrass is another great example of this. It captures carbon dioxide in the water around it, transports it through its roots into the sediment, where it's stored for a long time. There are also industrial methods of capturing and storing carbon dioxide. These use special materials or chemicals that capture and collect the carbon dioxide before it's either turned into a special type of mineral or stored deep underground. So those are just a few of the different ways that we can capture and store carbon. And there's another way, and that's called blue carbon. But what is blue carbon? Let's go to Pip to find out more.
Thanks, Lawrence. Blue carbon is carbon captured by the world's oceans, and this is where it gets its name, blue carbon. There are 3 habitats that really pull their weight in capturing this carbon. They are salt marshes, seagrass meadows, and mangrove forests. These habitats actually take up such a small area of the ocean floor, about 0.2%, but they absorb about half the ocean's carbon. These blue carbon habitats have a huge impact. In comparison to green carbon habitats, those are those on land, a mangrove forest can absorb carbon up to 40 times faster than a tropical rainforest. Blue carbon habitats also store their carbon very differently. Tropical rainforests have a huge biomass. This means the volume of organic material that is stored in branches, trunks, and leaves. This is where all of the carbon goes to build these structures. But when the tree is cut down, or it dies and decays, all of the carbon stored in its trunk will be released again. In comparison, blue carbon habitats also take this carbon and turn it into biomass through their roots. Because marine soils don't have that much oxygen, the roots don't break down as easily. So the carbon is stored there and preserved for thousands of years. It is this process that was the start of the formation of fossil fuels in the first place. Because of this, blue carbon ecosystems are vital in helping lower greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and the oceans. In Australia, it was calculated that they were losing these ecosystems at a rate of about 1 to 3% every year. In Maldives, these areas are also seen as waste space and often used for land reclamation, for making islands bigger, or to build airports on. We need to help everyone appreciate and understand these spaces, from politicians to large industries. Last year, the MUI team had a special visit from a scientist called Peter McCready. He's from the Blue Carbon Lab at Deakin University in Australia. Together with the team, we took carbon sediment cores from mangrove and seagrass habitats. These are cylinders of sediment sliced from the ground. We sent these to a laboratory to be analysed to tell us exactly how much carbon is stored in the ground of these habitats in Lamu. By calculating exactly how much carbon is stored by these habitats, we hope to prove with science exactly how important they are. But it's not only the support of large industries and policymakers that we need. We also need the support of people at home to help drive change. Sometimes the best way to inspire people is for them to get involved themselves and experience the habitats firsthand. Pete's lab launched a citizen scientist study that anyone can do from a blue carbon habitat near them, and it involves a simple tea bag.
Thanks for sharing all of that amazing research with us, Pip. I can't wait to see what the results are from the lab about how much carbon our environments here store. And an experiment using just a simple tea bag? How interesting. Here's one I prepared earlier. But we'll come back to this tea bag experiment at the end of our class. For now, let's research a carbon storing environment near you. You can use the worksheet below to help guide you in your questions and research.